2, 1.
Greetings. My name is Heather Simmons. I'm the Associate Director for Instruction and Access Services at the Alexander Campbell King Law Library. I'm going to go over some general suggestions on the use of email in the law office. Amy Taylor, Clinical Services and Research Librarian, is going to cover some more specific tools and techniques. When I suggested in 1996 that email would become the principal means by which clients and lawyers communicate, many people suggested I was dangerous, that I was possibly insane, that I should not be allowed to speak in public, and that I certainly did not understand anything about security or confidentiality. Richard Susskind is a lawyer in the United Kingdom who makes predictions about law and technology. He was certainly right about email. In this video, we're going to offer some suggestions on how to make the best use of email on the job. Here's something he said more recently. I hope this one is equally prophetic. Email is a fact of life in the modern law office. Here are some suggestions on how to write law office emails. Draft the text first, and only then fill in the to-line. This way, you can't accidentally send the email before you're ready. Double check that you've attached the attachment. This may seem obvious, but it happens all the time. Sometimes the email software will notice and ask you if you meant to attach a file, but it doesn't always work. When drafting an email, use a formal tone. It's not a text. Do not abbreviate. No emojis. Write as if it were a letter. Use complete grammatical sentences. Err on the side of formality. Always address people by their title. Dear Judge Smith, dear Ms. Jones. Most of the time, you're asking someone to do something, so thanks is a useful closing. But find out if your office has guidelines on what to do when emailing clients. Assume any email will be forwarded and draft accordingly. Use a descriptive subject. No one takes time to rewrite an email, so assume that it's going to be forwarded. Make sure you provide enough background and context for someone not involved to understand. Beware, reply all. Everyone has a horror story about hitting reply all by accident. If you never do it, it won't be a problem. And it's also just plain annoying because it clutters up everyone's inbox. And it's almost never necessary anyway. Just address your reply to the individual people who really need to know. Here is a typical law office disclaimer. Find out what the workplace policy is at your office and adhere to it. If you're lucky, it's an automated process, but make sure. Email will take over your life if you let it. It's just a tool. Don't let it control you. There's a balance between constantly checking your email and getting work done. However, it's really important to find out what your office workplace culture is. If the people you are working with, and especially your supervisor, expect immediate answers, then you cannot use these suggestions. But it's a good idea, if possible, to turn off notifications, especially if it makes noise. And don't look at your email first thing in the morning. Get some deep focus work done first. Ideally, only check your email twice a day, in the morning and the afternoon.
Now I'm going to take over and talk about more tools and techniques for managing email. I want to introduce you to the concept of Xero Inbox, which is the process of organizing your email inbox, resulting in zero unread emails awaiting reply in your inbox. Now, even if you don't decide to become even if you decide to not completely adopt Xero Inbox, these tools and techniques that I'm going to show you can help you feel like you're a little bit more in control of your inbox. The first thing I'm going to do is talk to you about setting up folders. Folders are good for both sorting and organizing your email. And to create a folder, on the left bar of Outlook, where it says folders, you right click. And then you can create a new folder. If you hit create new folder, it will give you an empty bar where you can create the name of your folder, and then you can drag it to anywhere in the folder list. I created a folder called demo folder, and I put it under admin matters. You can create folders, and you can also create subfolders. All the folders are searchable, as well as your whole inbox is searchable, so you don't have to worry about getting too granular. You can create just general folders, and then you can search them as needed. Another technique, and I find this one to be a real powerhouse for helping you get control of your email, are rules. And rules are preset commands for emails coming into your inbox. Rules have two components. There's the characteristic of the email coming in, what we call the condition, and then there's the action, what you want to do with the email. So now I'm going to talk to you about setting up rules. Here are a few. I subscribe to Xero Inbox, but I put a couple emails in my inbox so that I can show you some things to do with them. So I've selected the email titled Email Attachment, and I have right-clicked it, and down at the bottom of the display, you can see Create Rule. So I'm going to click Create Rule, and you can see that I can add a condition, including adding another condition in the blue. So I can add up to 2 conditions, and then I can add an action, another action, and even an exception. So let me show you what happens when I hold down the from here and under the conditions. You can see that I can sort by people, from or to, where my name is in the CC or to line, what the subject includes, keywords, and how important, if I've marked it with any type of importance. So these are all the different ways that you can take the email coming in and look at the conditions of it and say, hey, maybe when I'm the only recipient of an email, I want this email to go into a special folder. Or maybe when I'm the only, when I'm not on the to line and I know that I've just been CC'd, I want it to go into another folder and I know that I can look at it later. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about adding an action. So this is where you can really, you can both forward emails and move them to a folder at the same time. You can mark something as read and forward it at the same time. You can forward something and delete it at the same time. There are all kinds of different things that you can do to emails coming in. I think the most common thing is to move it to another folder. But as a librarian, I have a number of subscriptions set up where I receive a lot of email newsletters, and then I need to forward them to other people in the law school. And I just have all this set up as rules so that I'm not manually forwarding every day. That way I know that I'm not going to miss it. If I happen to take a day off, they're not going to be delayed in getting their email. So that really works out well for me. Okay. And the third thing I want to talk to you about is Snooze. And Snooze is a newer feature, and I think it really helps Xero Inbox work, at least for me. At first, I was skeptical because I thought, well, I mean, I can file everything away, but sometimes keeping something in your email inbox is a visual reminder that you need to deal with it. Well, what Snooze does is it lets you set a time, either one of the options in the drop-down menu, or you can create your own day and time, and that way the email comes back around to you and it shows back up in your inbox as a new email. So you can say, oh, I get an email at 10 o'clock in the morning. I really need to take some time to talk to a couple people. I need to think about it. I'm probably not going to have time to really address it until 3 o'clock. So you can snooze it until 3 o'clock. It's going to pop back up then and be a new email. And that way you know that you're not going to forget it, but you also get it out of your inbox. Where I like to know when I see a Xero inbox that I've dealt with every email. And sometimes dealing with an email just means that I defer when I'm going to deal with it. So this is how Snooze works. You're in an email, you click Snooze here, you can pick later today, this evening, tomorrow, this weekend, next week, or you can choose a date. And when you choose a date, it's going to give you this little calendar, and you can pick both the day and the time. So this is a really great thing that Snooze can do for you. So all of these features, the rules, the folders, and the snoozing, even if you don't go all in on Xero Inbox, you can use these in combinations to kind of tame your email inbox and make it a little bit easier, give you a little bit more peace of mind. Now I want to talk to you about how to save attachments. There's the down arrow that will automatically download it, but this little V shaped will let you either preview, download, and open in a new tab. I really like opening a new tab because sometimes you want to see it in its entirety, but you don't necessarily want to download things to your computer. And this kind of offers you the best of both worlds. And then when it's in the new tab, if you want to download it, you can download it from there. And finally, we want to encourage you to go to CDO if you need any help with email content. They have a lot of great templates. I spoke with them before we recorded this presentation, and they would be really happy to have any of you come and speak with them about email content. So thank you very much. And with that, we will leave you.